What if you could build a fully functional AI agent, one that holds a real conversation, remembers what you said, and takes actual actions in the world without writing a single line of code? In the next hour, you're going to do exactly that. Welcome to the channel. I'm JT. I've spent about 30 years building and scaling technology companies as a CTO and founder. And these days, I help founders and operators turn AI from buzzword into working systems. Today, I'm going to walk you through building an AI agent in N8N, one of the most powerful no-code automation platforms out there, step by step, node by node. Here's exactly what you'll walk away with. A working AI chat agent that can hold a conversation, remember what you talked about earlier, and use tools to take real-world actions, search the web, run calculations, write to a database. And more importantly, you'll understand why each piece works, so you can build your own agents long after this video ends. This is for you whether you're a business owner who wants to automate customer support, a developer looking to prototype AI workflows fast, or someone who's just genuinely curious how AI agents actually work under the hood. No prior N8N experience required. We're starting from a blank canvas. Quick favor before we dive in. If you find this useful, hit subscribe. I publish practical, no-fluff tutorials like this every week for founders and builders. And come join us over at the Startup Venture Lab community, where we go deeper on this stuff and you can get your questions answered directly. Links in the description. All right, let's go build this thing. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to build a fully functional AI agent using N8N, one of the most powerful no-code automation platforms available today. By the end of this video, you'll have a working AI chat agent that can hold a conversation, remember what you talked about, and even use tools to take real-world actions, all without writing a single line of code. Whether you're a business owner looking to automate customer support, a developer who wants to prototype AI workflows quickly, or just someone curious about how AI agents work, this tutorial is built for you. So let's dive in. Before we touch N8N, I want to spend just a few minutes making sure we understand what we're actually building. Because when you understand the underlying concept, every step after this will make complete sense. So, what is an AI agent? At its core, an AI agent is a system that perceives its environment, reasons about what to do, and then takes action. It's not just a chatbot that gives you a response. It's a system that can autonomously decide what steps to take to accomplish a goal. Think of it like a very capable employee. You give them a task, they figure out the best approach, use whatever tools they have available, and get it done, all without you micromanaging every step. Now, there are 5 key components that every AI agent has. Let me walk you through each one. First, perception. This is how the agent receives input. In our case, that's the chat messages you type. But agents can also perceive webhooks, API calls, emails, calendar events, anything that triggers the workflow. Second, decision-making. This is the brain, the large language model. It reads your input, thinks about what's needed, and decides which action to take next. In our tutorial, we'll be using Google Gemini for this. Third, memory. A stateless AI would forget every conversation the moment it ended. Memory gives the agent continuity, the ability to remember what was said earlier in a conversation, or even across multiple sessions. Fourth, tools. This is what makes agents genuinely powerful. Rather than just generating text, an agent can call tools. Search the web, save a record to a database, send a Slack message, run a calculation. In N8N, tools are simply other nodes connected to the agent. And fifth, action. The agent executes its decision and returns a result, whether that's a chat reply, a database entry, a notification, or all 3. Now, why N8N? Because N8N turns all of these abstract concepts into a visual drag and drop interface. Each component becomes a node on a canvas. You connect them, configure them, and you have a working AI agent in minutes instead of days. All right, let's go build one. All right, let's open up N8N. Head to n8n.io and sign into your account. If you're self-hosting, navigate to your instance URL, typically localhost :5678. Once you're on the dashboard, you'll see your list of existing workflows. We want to create a fresh one. Look for the button in the top right that says New Workflow, or the plus icon, and click it. You should now see a blank canvas. This is where we'll be building. Think of this canvas as your agent's brain, laid out visually. Every node we add is a capability, and every connection is a data pathway. Before we add anything, let's give this workflow a proper name. Click on My Workflow at the top and rename it to something like AI Chat Agent. Then hit Save. That's Control S on Windows or Command S on Mac. Great, now we're ready to add our first node. Every N8N workflow needs a trigger, something that starts the workflow. For our AI agent, that trigger is a chat message. On the canvas, click the large Add First Step button or click the plus icon in the center. This opens the node search panel on the right side of the screen. In the search box, type chat. You'll see a result called When Chat Message Received. That's our node. Click it to add it to the canvas. Now let's look at what this node does. When a user types a message into the N8N chat interface, either embedded on a website or accessed through N8N's built-in chat window, this node fires and passes that message into the rest of the workflow. There are two important settings here. The mode dropdown can be set to hosted chat for using N8N's built-in chat window, or webhook if you want to embed the chat interface on your own website. For this tutorial, we'll leave it on hosted chat. It's the fastest way to test. You'll also notice an authentication option. For now, we can leave this as none since we're just building and testing. In production, you'd want to add authentication to protect your agent. With the chat trigger in place, our agent now has ears. It can receive messages. Next, we need to give it a brain. Now we add the heart of our agent, the AI agent node. This is the central coordinator that receives your message, thinks about what to do, optionally calls tools, and formulates the final response. Click the plus icon that appears on the right side of the chat trigger node. This opens the node panel connected to it. Search for AI agent and select the result called simply AI agent. Once it's on the canvas, you'll notice something different about this node compared to a regular node. It has multiple connection points along its bottom edge. These are where we'll connect subnodes, a language model, a memory system, and tools. We'll add each of those in the coming steps. Now let's look at the configuration. Click on the AI agent node to open its settings. The first important setting is agent type. There are several options, but for most use cases, including this tutorial, you want Tools Agent. This mode allows the agent to decide which tools to call and in what order, making it far more powerful than a simple question-answering agent. The source for prompt dropdown tells the agent where to find the user's input. Since we have a chat trigger connected, set this to Connected Chat Trigger Node. N8N will automatically wire up the message. That's the core configuration for now. We'll come back to the system message setting in a later step to give our agent its personality and instructions. The AI agent node is smart about coordinating a workflow, but it needs a language model to actually do the thinking. That's what we're connecting now. Look at the bottom of the AI agent node. You'll see a connection point labeled Language Model or Chat Model. Click the plus icon next to it. In the node search, type Gemini to use Google's AI, or OpenAI if you prefer ChatGPT's model. I'll use Google Gemini in this demo because it has a generous free tier. Select Google Gemini Chat Model. Once the node appears, click on it to configure it. The first thing you need to do is connect your API key. Click Create New Credential, name it something like Google AI, and paste your API key from Google AI Studio, that's aistudio.google.com. Then click Save. Now select the model. I recommend Gemini 2.0 Flash for a great balance of speed and capability. If you need the most advanced reasoning, Gemini 2.5 Pro is available, but it's slower and more expensive. The connection is made automatically. The Gemini node slots right into the language model connection point of your AI agent. You'll see the visual link appear on the canvas. At this point, your agent could technically work, but it would forget every conversation the moment it ended. Let's fix that with memory. Right now, if you sent two messages to our agent, it would treat the second one as if the first one never happened. That's because LLMs are stateless by default. They only know what's in their current input. Memory solves this. Look at the AI agent node again. This time, click the plus icon next to the memory connection point. In the search, type Simple Memory and select it. Simple Memory stores the conversation history directly in N8N's runtime memory, meaning it's fast, zero configuration, and perfect for development and light production use. Once it's connected, CLIC on the Simple Memory node to see its settings. There are just two key options. Session ID determines which conversation history to use. The default, using the chat ID from the trigger, is exactly what we want. Each chat session gets its own separate memory space. Context window length controls how many previous messages the agent remembers. The default is usually around 10 exchanges. For most use cases, this is plenty. If you increase this, the agent will have better long-term context, but will send more tokens to the LLM, which increases cost. That's it for memory. Genuinely that simple. Your agent can now hold a coherent, multi-turn conversation. Next, let's give it a personality. This is where you give your agent its identity. The system message, also called a system prompt, is a set of instructions that get sent to the language model before every conversation. It defines who the agent is, what it's for, and how it should behave. Click on the AI agent node. Scroll down to the Options section at the bottom of the Settings panel. Click Add Option and select System Message. A text area appears. This is your agent's instruction manual. Let me show you a well-structured system message. Start with a clear role definition. Tell the agent who it is, then describe its purpose. Then list any behavioral guidelines, tone, things to avoid, formatting preferences, and if you've added tools, explicitly describe when to use each one. Here's an example for a general assistant. Read from code block. Pause between lines. You are a helpful, accurate, and friendly AI assistant. Your role is to answer questions clearly and concisely. Admit when you don't know something rather than guessing, keep responses focused, and use markdown formatting when it aids readability. The quality of your system message has a massive impact on the quality of your agent's responses. Invest time here. Be specific. The more precise your instructions, the more reliably the agent will behave the way you want. This is where things get exciting. Tools are what separate a conversational chatbot from a true AI agent. With tools, your agent can take real actions in the world. In N8N, any node can become a tool. You simply connect it to the tool connection point on the AI agent node, and the agent can then decide when to call it. Let's add two simple tools to start: a calculator for doing math and Wikipedia for looking up factual information. First, let's add the calculator. Click the plus icon next to the tool connector on the AI agent node. Search for calculator and select it. That's it. The calculator is now available to your agent. No configuration needed. Now add Wikipedia. Click the tool connector again, search for Wikipedia, and select it. Again, it connects automatically. Here's the magic. Your agent will now automatically decide when to use these tools. If you ask, what's 847 times 23? It'll call the calculator. If you ask, who invented the telephone? It'll query Wikipedia. You don't have to tell it which tool to use. The LLM reasons about this itself based on the question. For more advanced use cases, you can connect an HTTP request node as a tool. This lets your agent call any external API, or a Notion node to read and write database records. The possibilities are essentially unlimited. All right, it's time to test what we've built. This is always my favorite part, because this is when the agent comes to life. First, make sure your workflow is saved, Control S. Then look for the Test Workflow button at the bottom of the canvas, or the chat icon. Click it to open the built-in chat window. Let's start with a simple test. Type, "Hello, who are you?" and press enter. The workflow will execute. You'll see the nodes light up one by one on the canvas, and in a few seconds, you should get a response that matches the personality you defined in your system message. Now let's test memory. Send a follow-up message like, "What did I just ask you?" The agent should reference your previous message. If it does, memory is working. Test the calculator by asking, "What is 1,234 times 567? Watch the execution. You'll see the agent node call the calculator tool, get the result, and incorporate it into the response. Test Wikipedia by asking, "Who invented the telephone?" The agent should query Wikipedia and return accurate information. If anything doesn't work as expected, don't panic. Click on any node in the canvas to see exactly what data flowed through it. The AI agent node specifically shows you the agent's reasoning chain, which tools it considered calling, and why it made each decision. This is incredibly valuable for debugging. Iterate, adjust your system message, refine your tool descriptions, run the test again. This is the normal cycle of agent development. Your agent is working perfectly in test mode. Now let's make it live. In N8N, there's a critical difference between test mode and active mode. In test mode, the workflow only runs when you manually trigger it from the canvas. In active mode, it runs 24/7, responding to real users automatically. To activate, look for the toggle switch in the top right of the canvas that says Inactive. Click it to switch it to active. You'll see it turn green. Your agent is now live. Now let's get your agent's URL. Click on the chat trigger node. You'll see a production URL field. This is the URL users can visit to chat with your agent. It's a real web page that N8N hosts for you. Copy that URL. You can share it directly, embed the chat widget on your website, or build a custom front end that sends messages to it via the webhook URL. A few important production considerations before you go live. First, add authentication to the chat trigger. Even a simple password protects your agent from abuse. Second, consider upgrading from simple memory to Postgres memory so conversations persist across restarts. Third, set up error handling. If the LLM API is temporarily unavailable, you want the agent to respond gracefully rather than showing a raw error. Congratulations, you've built and deployed a real AI agent. Let's wrap up with a few next steps. And just like that, you did it. In under an hour, you went from a blank canvas to a fully deployed AI agent, one that holds multi-turn conversations, remembers context, uses tools, and responds to real users around the clock. Let's quickly recap what you built. You started with a chat trigger to give your agent ears. You added the AI agent node, the brain, and connected a language model to power its reasoning. You gave it memory so it can track a conversation, a system message to define its personality, and tools so it can take real action. Then you activated it and pushed it live. And here's the thing worth sitting with for a second. Every advanced AI agent you'll ever encounter, no matter how sophisticated, is built from these exact same 5 components: perception, decision-making, memory, tools, and action. You now understand all 5, and you've shipped something that demonstrates every one of them. That foundation doesn't change as the tools get fancier. It scales. So where do you go from here? Start connecting more tools. Google Sheets, Slack, Airtable, your own APIs. Dig into RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, which lets your agent search through your own library of documents and explore multi-agent workflows where specialized agents hand tasks off to each other like a real team. J. If this video helped you build something today, do me 2 quick favors. First, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I drop practical, no-fluff builds like this every week for founders and operators. Second, come join us inside the Startup Venture Lab community. That's where we go deeper, troubleshoot real projects together, and where you can get your questions answered directly, including the ones that came up while you were following along today. Drop a comment and tell me what you're going to build with this. I read them, and your idea might just become the next tutorial. Thanks for watching, and happy building. I am JT. I'll see you in the next one.